what is the best way to hold a rental property? I guess before I go further, you should ask a lawyer or CPA what the best is. This is just what I have found to be the best way, or from my research, right? Here in Michigan, it's an LLC, from what I found, for protection, right? But if you use an LLC, I think I talked about it before, you have to structure it correctly. You have to have an operating agreement. You have to have all these other papers. It has to be a bank. You can't commingle funds. You have to run it like it's its own business, its own entity for that LLC to actually protect you against whatever you want it to protect you for, right? So usually what someone does if they buy a rental, they buy it using, big bank financing, just using their income. And later on, what they end up doing is they switch it over into an LLC, right? So the good is that it protects you, right? If something were to happen. The bad is when you do that, you're technically selling the property, even though you're not. You're just transferring it from your name to my name LLC, right? So a bank sees that as a sale, and most mortgages have a due on sale clause, which means that on sale, they can call the mortgage through. Do they do that? No. Can they do that? Yes. Mostly if you're missing payments and doing weird stuff, right? So the best way to hold it is an LLC if it's properly structured and you run it correctly. Then the next question is, well, I want to have like 10 rentals. How many rentals should I have under one LLC? And to answer that, I've heard a variety of different opinions on the matter. One of the lawyers that I talked to said a good rule of thumb is about $1 million per LLC, right? So let's say you have 10 $100,000 houses, you would all put those under an LLC. Another bonus to that, if you're doing houses, is if you have 10 different LLCs, you gotta do taxes on 10 different businesses. It's just way more work than it's worth end to end, right? Because if you think about it, if you're leveraging these properties, you have 20%, and if you're sweet, you're buying it for 50, putting 30 into it, refinancing out, and you have zero money into it. So technically you're protecting zero money, right, in that case. But if you are putting 20% down buying these places, then you are protecting that money. Granted, if something were to happen and a lawyer looked at it and it's like, okay, this dude owns like the house, like the house's door and a window and I don't know, 5 pieces of flooring, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, it's not worth their time pursuing that. Mostly if it's some bullshit, lack of a better word. But that's usually the best way to hold it. You hold it in an LLC. You want to make your resident agent your lawyer. So that way, if someone does look it up, you have no ties to the property. No one knows who actually owns the property, which is sweet. You can do that stuff with the trust and everything else. I've never done a trust, so I use LLCs and they work very well for me. From a structure standpoint, I kind of understand them, how to actually run them correctly and do all that. If you're curious on how to structure LLCs properly for rentals, I took a course on it like a while ago, and I can see if I can dig that up, or I can refer you to whoever gave that course if you want to learn more about it, because it's definitely good to know, mostly if you plan on buying a bunch of properties, and make sure you're protecting all your assets correctly. So I hope this helps, but the best way that I found to hold rental properties is in a LLC. And if you own them yourself, then it's just a regular LLC. And if it's a partnership, then it's a whatever that's called, dual LLC partnership. It's still an LLC. It's just there's 2 parties to it. I don't know what the name is, but you can figure that out. Anyway, hope that helped, and you have a great day.